Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another live stream here on No Nonsense Whiskey. And this today is what we're going to be calling the WhiskyTube Roundtable, which I'll get into in a little bit. But to say, firstly, get me words out. It's been a while, rusty. But to say hello to everybody in the chat first, and then we'll get into what this stream is all about. And we'll introduce our. Usually I say guests, but these guys aren't guests today. I guess you could call them co-presenters. But let's get into the chat and see what we've got. We've got Charlie Holmes in. He says, first, or should I say thirst? Absolutely. Yes, it's been a long day and very thirsty. The Scotchtographer, he's in the chat, of course. He's going to be one of the guys in today. Although he's called himself Ben on the thing. But yeah, he's in. Greg's in as well. He's wondering what the waters mean. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. Scott's in. Thank you very much for coming in, buddy. Tim's in. Mitch is in. Andrew Butler's in. Thank you very much. Who else have we got? Jeff, of course. Jeff is here. We've got Wraith is in. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I should have said that before, but it looks like nobody's told me that they can't. This has been a big build up to get this going. So yeah, David Owen is in. Thank you very much. That's an interesting one. I'm not sure I can say that, but yeah, never mind. Thanks for coming in, my friend. Graham's in. Thank you very much. Jimmy Jazz is in. Yes, nice one. And Jason Whiskywise as well. A whiskey tuber of Old Yonder. Maybe we'll get to see him doing some videos sometime soon. We'll see. Ben Marnock, of course, is in as well. And finally, Whiskey Novice as well. Good. Okay, perfect. Right, let me talk a little bit about what we're doing today and what the kind of idea is and why I've called this Testing the Waters. WhiskyTube Roundtable. Now, the idea behind this, maybe if it works, is that we will hopefully be hosting this once a month. And the idea is that nobody particularly owns it. You'll notice that it said on the thumbnail, WhiskyTube. This time it's been hosted by me. And then what we'll try and do is have a date at the end of each one for the next month and whoever the host is going to be by then, so that you follow all of us. That's the idea, try and increase all of the profiles of all of the whiskey tubers while we have a little bit of a chat and share what whiskies we're drinking that month and whatnot. So yeah, you should get a good mix of people that you've seen a lot of and some people that you probably don't know exist, and hopefully we'll all sort of grow together. But like I said, the idea is that next month it might not be me hosting it. I don't want to own this thing. I want to kind of pass it around to people, let everybody have a turn of this thing, because the main reason is that it just helps me, right? If I just host it all the time, it's just going to make my channel grow. I'll reap the rewards of it, a bit of monetization here and there. So I want that to be shared out between everybody as best we can. So without any further ado, then let's bring in our first co-host, and we'll see what's what. First up, then we've got, if I can do this, there we go. We've got Ben, aka Scotchtographer, as was the Whiskey Diary.
Was the Whiskey Diary. Yeah, man. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. How about you?
Yeah, man. I'm all right. Looking forward to this.
Good. Yeah, it's good to drag you out of a semi-retirement, right?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't supposed to be any sort of semi-retirement. Just a little break, but I haven't got round to shooting in a while.
I hear that, man. It's like we were saying in the green room beforehand. When you get off of that horse, it's hard to get back on it sometimes, isn't it? So it's
yeah, man. Yeah, busy.
I should say at this point as well, like like I said before, the general point about inclusivity of this is that that anyone can be on it. There's probably people watching this now that have their own channels. Obviously, you can't get everybody on every week, but when I do this, I'm going to be running it through my Discord server. So if you are a whiskey tuber watching this, then please do join Discord, and I'll get you into our little WhiskyTube area of that, and you can be part of it. That's available to anybody, big or small, even if you've just started. And we'll go from there. But yeah, and also if you're not a whiskey tuber, hit that Discord link as well, because that's a good community there. We both like Discord, right?
Very much so.
All right. Well, in case people don't know who you are, let us know what you are and what you're doing and what you're drinking.
Cool. Well, obviously, I used to be the Whiskey Diary. Just made videos about whiskey, generally focusing on the more affordable end of the spectrum. Not really into that much expensive stuff. But took a little hiatus, kind of rebranded as the Scotchtographer, which is going to be slightly more photography focused, cinematography focused. Just get to have fun with cameras, really. That's pretty much what I like doing. So thought I'd incorporate some drinking whiskey in there as well. And as far as what I'm drinking, I'm actually on the Worm Tub 10.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. I've made this is oh no, I mean I've got 2 bottles of this, but yeah, this is the one that I'm working my way through now, and I'm loving it, to be honest. It's good juice.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. I've got the dram of it coming next week. When I see a Discord fellow, James, is coming to say hello to me, so he's going to bring me a sample of that. So
Yeah, man, it slaps.
I'm always worried about heavily sherried stuff until I try it, and then I try it, and then we'll see how we get. But buying a full bottle is always a bit of a question mark for me.
I mean, at that price, it's hard. It's hard to call it a question mark. I mean, well, I know you personally are not a massive sherry fan, but yeah, like it was so cheap, man. In fact, I'm pretty sure I got it on a deal anyway. While you introduce someone else, I'm going to try and find out how much I actually paid for it.
Okay, yep, good idea. I'll bring in the next guy, and you probably know who this guy is. Here we have Jeff. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. How are yourself?
Yeah, I've got a bit of a cold myself, to be fair. So it was unfortunately we were meant to have Toby Whiskey Shared on tonight as well, but he's had to pull out because he's at the front end of his illness. I'm on the back end of mine. So for me, and there's nothing but car strength going into my glass tonight. So yeah.
Yes, it's those January germs there.
Oh,
Everyone's been hit by it. I've been plagued for all of January, so I'm kind of touching wood, as much wood as I can put my hands on.
Yeah, well, your kid's the same as mine, isn't it? At nursery, isn't it? So it's
it's
just like you pay all that money and just bring diseases home all the time.
Yeah, it's a playground for kids and a playground for germs.
Mm-hmm. Well, so in case anyone doesn't know who you are, then Jeff, let us know who you are, what you do, and what you're drinking.
So yeah, I'm Jeff. Well, that's the name I go by. It's become quite common knowledge. That's not my name. That's from my surname, but I've started with it, so I'm going to roll with it. I've been called a lot worse. I do WhiskyTube, whiskey things. I've been a whiskey fan for a long time, and I had no friends to like talk to about whiskey. I could have stopped that sentence sooner, but I've got no friends that talk about with whiskey. So I thought, well, I'll create an Instagram, then I can talk with people. Then I joined Discords, and then it all became a big thing, and it's just snowballed into I kind of like a whiskey persona I've almost got now, which is larger than I am, which is saying a lot because it was a big Christmas.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm just about to my level where I was before Christmas now, but that's taken a bit of effort, that has.
Yes, that's the reason I wear these shirts. They're always cheap and reduced for some reason. I'm not sure why. And they're very, very generous in the fit. So it's like wearing a bed sheet.
I think it's like, I mean, I didn't choose black for that reason, but I'm grateful for choosing black now. Cool. And what are you drinking tonight, buddy?
So I've gone to the whiskey that I probably had the most. I've not had a lot of whiskey since Christmas. It's kind of just time's eluded me. And it's one that I'm reaching for, and it's the Glenmorangie. Or I'm probably pronouncing that wrong because the label tells me otherwise now. But yeah, that Quinta Rubin. So it's the old label, and it is really lovely. I bought it a while back, and it is just one that I keep reaching for. It's pretty easy. I think it's 46%. Yeah, it is. Yeah, 14 years, and just a delightful port, easy sipper.
Nice. I've been getting into my port finish stuff recently, so I might have to look at that. It's been a while since I've had a Glenmorangie, because I used to say what you said, and like you said as well, the new boxes really don't help that pronunciation guide.
They've reinforced the pronunciation, which apparently is wrong. So I'm just going to go with what the box tells me now.
Yeah, 100%. You know, they put all that money into the marketing. The least we could do is pronounce it how they tell us now.
Yeah.
All right then. I'll bring in our last guy today. We've got 4 today. So that's good. This is really testing the tech out, and we've got Freed. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing quite well. Good morning, evening, afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but hi.
I mean, me, Ben, and Jeff are all in the same time zone, obviously, but you are not, right?
I am not. No, it is about a little past 4 a.m. here. I live in Northeast China.
Yeah.
So it's what you're drinking question is coffee for me at the moment.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think we might have to send help to you if it wasn't, right? So.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that would be probably a good idea.
Well, there's been a few times when I've been on calls on Discord with people from Australia when we're on it in the evening, and I've seen a bottle or two sneak into the coffee.
Yeah, well, you got to do what you got to do. It happens.
Absolutely. All right. Well, same questions to you then, buddy. Tell us who you are, what you do, and what you're drinking, apart from the coffee, of course.
Well, hey, I'm Freed, or Matt is my name. I have a YouTube channel that you probably have never heard of called Freed's First Time. I'm on a bit of a brief hiatus at the moment because I finally got stateside for the first time since 2018. So I just got back to China a couple of weeks ago. So I've been kind of nursing an injury and getting back into work and all that kind of stuff. So I haven't been drinking all that much. But when I was stateside, I finally got to dive in deeper to the American whiskey thing because that's kind of hard to find over here. So a lot of bourbons. I got a lot of ryes. Barrel Seagrass Cask Strength was one of my favorites, which I got to bring back with me in a travel flask in my checked luggage. But when I got to the train station, the police officer said, "Sorry, you can't take this on the train. It's too strong." So it got all that way to Beijing. And then they're like, "No, you can't have this." So I was like, all right, screw it. So I went outside and just drank as much as I can at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then just cried as I dumped it down the drain, and then went back inside and got it on the train. It was a sad day for me, but that's basically what I've been drinking. And I've got the 2010 Ben Remick Cask Strength, which has been just absolutely beautiful. I finally got my hands on that.
Amazing. Well, it looks like, I mean, like I said before, there's no theme for tonight, but it looks like the theme is WhiskyTubers that are on hiatus.
It would appear.
Good. Well, hopefully this getting you guys, dusting you off a little bit will give you the kick up the bum to make some content then, right?
Definitely.
Good. Well,
I need that.
Well, there you go, everybody. So this is literally us doing this every month if we can, to the guys in the chat. I'm using kind of new tech for me. So the whole point of doing this really was to test that to make sure it's working fine and everyone's happy with it. I am not very tech savvy when it comes to all this live streaming stuff. Ben helps me a lot in the background, and Ben is an excellent tutor, but often forgets what it's like to start, right, Ben? You're so used to it. You're just like, yeah, just do this thing. And I'm like, I don't understand the words you just said.
Yeah. It's quite easy when you do technology for a living to forget that it can be quite challenging.
Yeah. I mean, my big thing was trying to transition away from StreamYard, which is it's really, really good. It's like the Apple of streaming. You know, stuff just works, but it also costs like £25 a month, which is more than I pay for the entire Adobe suite, which is insane. So I had to move away from that. And this is all free. I managed to do all this for free, which is cool. I like that. But with that comes a massive learning curve. So yeah, I'm glad that it's worked out all right with this going in. So yeah, hopefully we'll have people interested in this. We'll be chatting every month or so to see what people are doing. We might cover a bit of news. Going forwards, there should be a theme for each one. So at least people watching will kind of know what we're going to be talking about. But I guess what I want to talk about a bit today, because we're coming out at the end of what would have been dry January, probably for none of us. I didn't do dry January. No. But what sort of kept you interested in whiskey over January when nobody else is really bothering with it? We'll go in the same order. Ben, what about you?
But honestly, pretty much the pot still. I've barely touched anything on my shelf for the last 30 days or so. It's been socializing. I mean, obviously, we just had SWG3 or National Whiskey Festival Glasgow. You pretty much just call them either Hampton or SWG3 because that's the venues for them. But we just had SWG3, which was really good. In fact, actually, this is the first thing I've touched in days because I was not great. I may have had a little bit too much fun at the after party for SWG3. And I've pretty much felt like shit for the last 3 days because I'm at that age now where one big night out equals 3 days of feeling rough. But my wife was actually super ill over like the whole of Christmas. So I had about 3 weeks off work like over Christmas and New Year's. And we basically did nothing but sit indoors because we're both self-employed. If one of us gets sick, the other one really doesn't want to. So we try and limit like going out, and we prefer to like have someone at home, so make food and stuff. Yeah, so January came around and I was like, to the pub. And that's pretty much where I've been for the last 3 weeks, to be honest. So yeah, man. There's hang on, sorry. I've got the chat up so I can it's not age, it's marital status that leaves you feeling so bad after booze. Well, I mean, I'd say that, but it's usually my wife. When we get in towards the end of the night, she's like, I think you've had enough. Not in like she never get funny about, but she's like, are you sure you want to stay out? I'll get you a McPlant on the way home. And I'm like, I can leave now. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. That's kept me going. Is actually being able to get out and hang out with people and get steaming.
Has it been much quieter up there than it was in the run up to Christmas?
Maybe. I mean, I didn't go out much in the run up to Christmas, so it's hard to compare. But to be honest, it's Glasgow. Like I go out drinking like in the centre of Glasgow, which is, you know, pretty much like full on most of the time. It's a big city in Scotland. Like it's never really that quiet.
Yeah, it's fair. Jim's just saying, is there an opposite to dry January? Because that's what he's been doing. And I was like, yeah, I feel that. You know, I mean, I was worried that I'll be doing my whiskey and whiskey out probably tomorrow, and I've managed to kill not 4 complete bottles. I just like to say they were all in the kill zone. Just want to say, yeah, we're all responsible drinkers here. But I still have managed to finish off 4 bottles this month, which is nuts. But I think people generally go by wet January, don't they? Which is yeah. It's just, I mean, I don't change it. My consumption doesn't increase on the run up to Christmas, and it doesn't slow down afterwards. It's all just, you know, it is what it is.
Constant.
Yeah, it's all constant. Apart from when I went to the Glasgow Whisky Festival, and that was just sauce on sauce. Yeah,
that was a good time.
It was a good time. Although I don't think you enjoyed me necessarily being in your gaff and not getting hangovers and getting up early in the morning and just being like, "Hey, let's go again," and you're just like.
I mean, it was a pleasure to have you, but I felt more awful that you're like, shall we? And I'm like, no, Vin, we won't. You're gonna sit on the fucking sofa, and I'm gonna sit here and cry until the painkillers have kicked in, and then we will consider leaving the house.
Yeah, I think when we started planning it early on, it was quite funny because I remember saying we've got time on the Sunday morning before Roy's thing to maybe hit a distillery, and in the end I was like, that sounds like a lot, let's not do it. And Ben scraped himself out just in time to make it for Roy's gig, so
and even then I was not like there for at least the first hour. I may have been there like physically, you know, occupying the space, but I was not there.
It's fair. Okay, Jeff, how about you then, mate? What's been keeping you going during January?
Well, I'm the exact opposite to Ben. So living in the centre of Glasgow, it's always busy for you. I live in a village where someone drives a car past midnight. That's on the Facebook group saying there's trouble about. So not really any social drinking. January's been remarkably quiet on the whiskey front for me. It's not intentional. I've not done dry January. It's just kind of, it's been probably the busiest start to the year I've ever had. So my birthday's Christmas Eve, so I was like, I'm gonna have a really nice whiskey that evening, kind of like to start the whole Christmas celebration, taking a week off work. And that didn't happen. Life happens, doesn't it? And then from then on, it's been like, I'll have a drink tonight. And by the time I finished work, if I'm doing split shifts to kind of pick up the kid from school or, you know, do the drop off. So whiskey's very much gone on the back foot for me. I've been doing a lot of like my creative side, the other side of me, the side that pays me. So I've been trying to focus on that a bit. But yeah, I still get the call every now and then of whiskey thinking, I've got a sample here. That's been waiting for me for a while. I never finished my advent calendar. So I've had...
Yeah, I didn't either.
I'd say I hit 30% in total. And my plan was review them, write them all up, put them on the website. That's not happened. So that's my goal for February, is to play Christmas catch up. Or I might as well at that point wait till next year. But yeah, I've I've enjoyed the whiskey that I've had, and it's been great having some whiskeys where you've not kind of had one for a while and you kind of like reignite that passion as you drink it, if that makes sense. So not to imply like it's like alcoholism reopening, but more like, oh, this is a real tasty whiskey. I forgot how good this is. It's like the Glenmorangie. Yeah, I can't pronounce English at the best of times, but that's really like spoken to me, and that's been sat on the shelf for ages, just maybe 3 or 4 drams down, and I've ignored it. So it's been nice to kind of take a step back and then recharge into it, and then hopefully keep that going into the rest of the year and get slapping again.
That Kinta Raban is always my Glasgow airport outbound dram, because it's like what the nice one. Well, I mean the whiskey bar at Glasgow airport's all right, but yeah, that's always my outbound when I'm going on holiday, probably too early in the morning dram.
There's no such thing in an airport. Too early doesn't exist. It's international time zone.
Exactly, time stops. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's a whiskey that I've enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would, but I can't see myself buying it, follow the rebrand. So I'm so design's my day job, and I'm quite a design fanatic. Like there's no such thing as bad design. It's all personal taste, but I think their rebrand is pretty not my cup of tea. It's an attempt to be modern without doing it right. So I can't see myself buying a replacement for that sole reason, even though I'm enjoying the liquid. That's just vanity for me though, isn't it?
Yeah, whatever works, man. Whatever works.
Can't say I care for the new rebranding as well. I'm not a fan.
That's good. That's the right answer.
No, not a fan.
I often think about, because obviously you've done some design videos, Jeff, in your time, and they're some of my favorite stuff that you do, where you really delve into a design. Because I'm not a design guy at all, as you can probably tell from my channel over the years, especially my thumbnail rebrands. If you go back and look at them, they're all just me, I just chuck stuff at the screen, and if my eye likes it, I just assume that I'm a general punter and think, well, if my eye likes it, then someone else is probably gonna like it. But I put no effort whatsoever into making them perfect. But we've talked before a lot about some of the rebrands, and sometimes I think I really don't like that, and then you'll pop up and go, "No, this is brilliant," and I'll go, "Oh God, I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to that."
It's the beauty. It's like whiskey. Everything's personal taste with design, and yeah, it's really easy. I've got some friends who are like proper hardcore design purists, and it's either if something's not on trend or if it is following a trend, then they're the enemy, they're the devil's work. But yeah, back to whiskey, because I could easily ramble about design. And as Andrew Butler asked about the Powers John Lane, I won't be replacing that one either, because the new bottle doesn't look good at all.
There are some like that, though, aren't there? Like you just don't want them on your shelf. I don't keep boxes, so boxes don't matter for me. But yeah. Sorry, Fried, what were you going to say then?
Oh, I totally forgot. No, if the juice is worth the squeeze, it kind of changes my perception of the bottle's design. I don't know why. If I look at the bottle and I think it's garbage and I pour it and the taste is fantastic, my view just kind of alters itself, or just mutes down, and I just care less. Like Bob Blair's bottles, I don't really care for those. They're kind of just fat and obnoxious, and they take up too much space on the shelves. But I'm okay with it because the stuff's okay.
That's what people say about me.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta just you're fat and obnoxious and take up too much space. we have a club. There's t-shirt.
I'm in it already.
I'm like the for me it's the tall ones, because I've gone for the YouTubers standard Kallax behind me. Like Jeff's got one as well, and those rare bottlings Bimber that you can't fit on the damn shelf. That really annoys me. But it's what can you do, right? You gotta have that diversity across the bottlings.
Yeah, there are a few bourbons that are in that realm as well. Like E.H. Taylor and New Riff, their bottles are just skyscrapers, man. I don't understand it. Yeah, they look sharp, I guess, but as far as, and if it's on a bar, then yeah, I'm sure it looks great, eye catching. But just chilling at your home bar on your shelf, gotta tilt it sideways or put it on top. It just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Freed,
definitely.
Work
I'd
out.
love to hear what you think of. You said Ben Romack Cast Strength is one of the ones you've been jamming down on. Well, how do you feel about the rebrand? Because that's quite a controversial one. I'm very pro it, but I'd love to hear.
Well, what from like I have the like from this to that. I don't care for the old brand. So I'm with you. I'm in Team Jeff on this one. The new one I think is a little bit more palatable, I suppose. It's a bit industrial for me, and it looks just a bit communist. Like like white red branding, block letters, no nonsense. It is what it is. You get what you get. And the other one has a little bit more flavor, I suppose. But I think if you put a gun to my head, I would pick the new bottles. But
that's the right answer.
Okay, good. Yes, 2 for 2.
I don't know, Freed. Earlier on when you were introducing yourself, you talked a little bit about the kind of bourbons you were drinking. But so I guess that's what's seen you through January. But
no, because I couldn't bring them back with me. I couldn't bring
damn.
all those bourbons were stateside, and I tried to bring that barrel Seagrass cast strength back with me, and couldn't. And I'm still pretty butthurt over that one, but it is what it is. But no, that Ben Romack, and I was actually gifted a couple of bottles of Chinese Baijiu when I got back. So and it's a decent quality one. So I've been kind of diving into that and exploring it a little bit more, and it's quite tasty. And aside from that, and what's keeping me going is just general enthusiasm. Really, I'm still pretty psyched about everything, and the whiskey scene here is still in its infancy. So what I can get is just very hit and miss. I kind of equate it to one of those restaurants where the sushi goes by you on a conveyor belt, and sometimes it comes back around and sometimes it doesn't. And there are hot pot restaurants here that are similar with ingredients and stuff like that. But anyway, so a lot of the things that I get, I kind of conserve. Well, the things I like anyway, I conserve and just put a nipple on, because I have no idea if it's going to come back around ever. And if I do find it online, which is where the majority of my whiskey purchases come from, it's the prices are so weird, and fakes are a big thing over here. And finding a reputable buyer, I 100% secondhand market over here. I can't just pop out to a shop and buy a bottle. It's not a thing here in small town China.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have like quite a lot of access to. I mean, especially Scotch over here, being like the 3 Englishmen on here. We've got quite a lot of access to Scotch. So I wondered what it was like for you over there. Obviously you've got some bottles, so you must still be able to get it. But yeah, it sounds like a real struggle.
Scotch is the predominant style over here, and like I said, whiskey is growing here. There are distilleries growing, and in the next 15, 20 years, I'm telling you, man, China is going to become a big whiskey player. Maybe not provider, but at least purchaser. But Scotch is mostly their thing, and they like their Macallans, and they like their simple flavors that makes them look good while they're drinking it. It's all visuals, baby. It's all visuals. Flavor will come eventually, but right now it's all just look at me drinking this blue label. I'm rich. You're not. Suck one. And so it's bourbon over here is few and far between. Very few and far between.
Do you think that's like a kind of cultural relationship thing, or is it just people just don't want to drink it?
It could be. I have very few people to talk to make that connection. So it could quite possibly be, but it's just farther away, maybe. So the shipments, and sometimes we get along. Sometimes everyone's pro-America. Sometimes people's anti-America over here. So it really depends on, the wavelength of we like you, we don't like you. Where are we on that wavelength right now? To whether or not people are going to be stocking a lot of bourbons, but online suppliers anyway.
That's interesting.
But mostly it's world whiskeys and scotches. Cavalan over here is inexpensive. Well, inexpensive, like 110 a bottle for like the Solus line. Like the Vino, I got the Vino Barrique for 110 US, which stateside you're going to pay at least double that probably. So there are some perks. Yeah,
I talk about this a lot in my comment section on my videos, because obviously I cover quite a large amount of Scotch and quite a lot of English whiskey now as well, which people just can't get worldwide. But it's that locality in whiskey is massive right now. I think Scotch obviously is the worldwide thing, but even Irish, I don't know about you guys, but Irish, I struggle to see that the newer stuff coming out on the shelves. All the old stuff, fine, from the 3 major distilleries, but all new stuff, I'm really struggling to see on shelves. Brexit probably causing that issue, but
no, I think it's the same for me. I don't seem to see much push on Irish products from any of the retailers either, because I'm signed up to a dreadful amount of emails, all because I think I'll get a 10% code if I sign up or something. So I get thousands of duplicates, and there never seems to be a push for Irish whiskey. I've noticed lately. I don't know if that's something that's always been the way. It's not a big seller in our market, or which surely is not the case, because from what my experience was, Irish whiskey was more how you got into whiskey than Scotch. Well, it definitely was for me anyway. But I don't seem to see any push on Irish new products. Like Dingle, I don't really hear anything about Dingle. And there's, I think Hinch is are they doing their own spirit now? Or I'm not sure, but there's lots of, from what I can gather, there's lots of growth from Irish whiskey, but it's not something that I hear about. It's more kind of, okay, let's see how this is going. Let's see. And luckily there's lots of like YouTube channels who do chat about it, who know a lot more than I do about it. So you can kind of leech information from them.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in the same camp as you there, Jeff, because I obviously I'm in the circles, but I don't go searching for whiskey anymore. I just sort of wait to see what gets sort of rammed into my eye holes through emails and whatever. Because my purchasing power is probably 1, maybe 2 max a month. So I can't buy everything. So if I go out searching for every new distillery, I'll be bankrupt. I just wait to see what pops my way. And usually, like you, because you're a bargain man, aren't you? So I'm very much like that. Yeah. Like I definitely don't want to feel like I'm paying full price whenever I'm paying for something. I wait for those emails to come through with the deals on, and have you seen this? Have you seen that? Or recommendations on my Discord channel. Yet another plug for the Discord channel. Go and check that out if you're into it. But that's usually a bad place for me as well, because we have a little section on there where people post the deals they've seen, and I have to be like on a daily basis almost like, oh, can I? Can't I? But I don't. That's probably why I haven't seen much Irish as well, because Jim's saying in the comments here that the American market is probably their biggest goal. So which is fair, right? Because that's they've got a long-standing Irish whiskey heritage over there. So it's it's a shame, really. I keep getting blasted because I did my collection video this year, and I have no Irish whiskey at all in over 100 bottles. And I'm getting slammed for it. So I need to sort that out. I need to sort that out this year.
My Irish section is pretty skinny as well.
What about you, Ben? On all these shelves behind you, what's your Irish percentage? I guess
he's 0.3.
Oof.
Yeah, I've got 1 bottle of Irish, I think, maybe 2.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's just not something honestly. It's just, I mean, like, it's no secret. I generally just lean more towards Scotch. Obviously, geographically, it's slightly easier to come by, and I quite like to dig into like distilleries like that I go and visit and stuff. Obviously, I didn't go to Israel to get the bottles of Israeli whiskey, but yeah, it's Irish whiskey. Generally, though, as a rule, like a lot of the Irish whiskey I've had, given the whole triple distilled thing, when I started getting into Irish whiskey, I was like, there's this really light, delicate juice, or there's this like heavier juice stuff. And I was like, I always ended up leaning more towards the juicier stuff. Obviously, since then, I've had other bottles of Irish which aren't quite as delicate. But still, that's no excuse for only having 1 bottle of Irish.
No, I think I'm the same as you there, Ben, because I especially if I'm buying for myself, obviously I'm going to buy things that I think I'm going to like or whatever. So in my exploration of whiskey, I've generally found Irish whiskey to be light and floral and the triple distilled nature of it. Whereas I am like you, I'm looking for those really heavy, slap you around the face, cast strength, Big P.
Give me 2 secs. I'm going to go and I'm literally
Same.
empty, so I'm going to go and get one.
Go and get one. Yeah.
Is it your one Irish you're going to grab?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab that one Irish.
I love how Ben's camera is more tech savvy than my entire stream.
Yeah.
I do have a be right back slide, to be fair, but it isn't as swish as that.
Yeah, Ben says about because he works in technology all day, he knows the lingo. I work with technology all day. I have no clue.
Mm.
Is it that the dark
Lingo?
silky?
So, yeah. I think I've tried that.
That's
Ooh.
it. And I've barely touched it as well. Well,
I'm glad you, Ben. I'm glad you brought up. That's all right. I'm glad you brought up that warm tub too, because that's actually I'm part of a couple of whiskey groups here, like WeChat. I don't know if you're familiar with the Chinese app, social media app WeChat. There's a couple of whiskey groups I'm a part of there, and they've been pushing this worm tub, the 10-year-old specifically, and they have a lot of it apparently. And I'm fairly ignorant to that bottle as at all, so I kind of just passed up on it. So if you're endorsing it, then I might have to pull the trigger because it seems to be a pretty decent price, like 355 renminbi, which is about like $45.
I mean,
US.
so
I'm not sure what that is in pounds, but
I got it for. So I went and checked. It cost me 36 quid because I think I got an email from Master of Malt, which is who I buy all my juice from. And that wasn't even like a trade discount or anything. I do have a trade account with them, but I didn't use it. I had this thing for it. I just clicked it, went. To be honest, if I'm seeing something that's like sherried, hang on, let me just sort my camera out. If I'm seeing something that's like sherried and delicious and cask strength and it's got a double figure age statement, not that age statement matters, but if you're seeing all that on there and you're like, for 35 quid, it's to know. For me, I'm fortunate enough that I can just take a punt on that because if it's belting, then for me, that's a massive win. And yeah, it was belting. So I bought another one and actually bought another one to give to my neighbour as a gift. That's how good it was.
So what is the distillery on that? Is that Craigellachie? Or is
I believe so.
Yeah. I do like to try whenever I see these, especially Master Malt, I do try to squeeze and see what information I can get out because I'm clueless with like blind tastings and that lot. But like Worm Tub, that's the only thing. Is Ben Rees Worm
Ben
Tub?
Rinnes. I believe Ben Rinnes has worm tubs. Because that's what I was. Because that's when I asked about this before, I was given it's my favourite distillery with worm tubs, and I'm like, right, well that boils it down to 2 that I know you've spoken about. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Craigellachie.
And if you're ever not sure about a Master of Malt bottling, DM Sam Simmons on Instagram because he'll
give you a cryptic answer.
He'll give you a cryptic answer. But he loves it. He loves talking about the things he's allowed to talk about. He'll tell you. If
he's a great chap. He is.
Yeah.
Well, if you're familiar with where the whiskey comes from, he'll give you the skinny on it. Oh, nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so he's the dude behind all the boutique whiskey bottles, and how much I don't know how much he does with Master and Malt and all their independent bottles, but he seems to know what the crack is with most of them, from what I gather. I'm not like super connected like you, Vin. I don't have, I don't have the power you have. They look at me and say, "No, jog on, mate. I'm not telling you nothing."
It was funny. I picked up the one of the independent bottlers the other day, the Blair Athol 16, because it was too silly not to. Yeah, it was such a cheap whiskey. It was like £32, and it's not like, don't get me wrong, it doesn't blow the world to rights. It's just it's a very obvious refill cask, but it's just like if you think Scotchy Scotch in your head, that's what you're tasting. But I bought it and took a picture of it for Instagram, and Sam DM'd me like straight away saying, he said, "I'm really glad that you picked that up because we didn't announce it, we didn't tell people it was coming. It was like a thank you to everybody who's been buying their bottles because they knew that the first people that would see it wouldn't be the flippers or anything like that. It would be just the drinkers. We'd see it, we'd share it, everyone would get a bottle, and then it'd be sold out."
Which bottle was that? Sorry,
the Blair Athol 16.
Oh,
yeah. So they priced it. Like, I think they even probably lost, maybe not lost money, but they definitely broke even on it rather than made money, which I thought was really good of them to do that. But that Master of Malt range is phenomenal what they're doing there.
Yeah. I've got about 15 of those, and every single one is belting. Half of them, it's just been like 35 quid, 30 quid or something. I've just gone, yeah, worth a punt, and pretty much every time it has been. Even the ones which I've got, and
I've heard a few.
Yeah, and even the ones where they're not like a really good whiskey. I then go and look back at how much I paid for it. It's like I paid £29 for this, and it's like, for 29 quid, it's great. I've paid 40 quid for stuff that's not as good as this. Which, this Silky is really nice, but it's not standing up to the worm tub I had before. Which, I mean, I could, if I'd have thought about that, maybe I probably wouldn't have had the Silky after drinking the worm tub. But, it's not bad.
Now
Not bad at all. Yeah, but it is just really light for me. Like on my palate, it's just super, super light and delicate and gentle and like easy, which aren't really drams that I go for the most part. I want stuff that's gonna like strip my teeth, that I've got to chew before it. Like I want to have to work.
Yeah, I get it. I did forget to say what I was drinking, so I'm gonna. Yeah. I've just finished it actually, but before we move on to the next one. But I'm drinking the Kingsbarns Bellrock Cask Strength, which is solid, man. It's it's 61.1%, but it doesn't taste it, or maybe I just can't taste it today. But it's solid. But what I'm going to move on to now, since Freed was talking about bourbon earlier, and a bit of a YouTubey thing as well, is this Saints Alley. My light is shocking. Saints Alley Herald, which is a collaboration with Liquor Hound, and Iron Root. I don't think that Liquor Hound watches my channel, but if he does, he's welcome on this show in the future. But I was given that at Glasgow Whisky Festival by a guy called Tim. What a legend.
Just gave you a bottle of it. Just like, here you go, man.
Literally. I need to know the review of it properly. But he literally, we were chatting and we were, talking about bourbon, and he went, back in a second, and off he went, and he came back with this bottle, and I was like, oh yeah, sound, yeah, crack it open, I'll have a dram of that. And he was like, no, you take it with you. And I was like, no, come on. And he's like, no, seriously. And I was just like, no, I can't take that. And he's just like, no, I want you to have it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, if you insist.
If you insist.
Salt of the earth, this community.
Yes, Phil. Sorry, Phil's just asked in the chat if he should go to the Glasgow Whisky Festival. Man. Yeah, but come to Hampton. SWG3 is all right, but Hampton's the one.
Yeah, I think. It depends on what you want. Like, so I think London Whisky Festival is probably not
as good as Glasgow. Agreed.
It's definitely not as good as Glasgow, but it's so big, and I think it was less busy almost than Glasgow, but you get more time. Is the key thing, because Glasgow Whisky Festival is like 3.5 hours and it's gone. Because they don't open the doors until the clock starts anyway. So if you're at the back of the queue like me and Ben were, you lose half an hour. And then they stop serving 15, 20 minutes early as well. So actually, it's not even 3.5 hours. It's about 2 hours 50.
Hang on. And we did also spend about an hour socializing and going around saying hello to everyone before I think I was in there for 40 minutes before I had a dram.
Yeah, and me.
We whiffed that. That was on us. Yeah. If we'd have not fucked about, we probably could have had a couple more. But I thought it was great, but yeah, we probably should have just cracked on and got some drams down us instead of spending 40 minutes talking shit with people.
That was the whole thing. There was this amazing moment there where I was, I think you'd gone to the can, and I was just waiting for you because I'm a bit socially awkward in public anyway, but I was just waiting, and this lad came up to me, and he was dressed in the Glasgow Whisky Festival stuff, and he was just like, "You're right there, mate." And I was just like, yeah. But I was a bit pissed, and I was like, yeah, I'm just waiting for my mate. And it was a good 5 minutes before I realised it was Kieran from White and Mackay, who was just moonlighting on the festival. But we were just chatting, and I wasn't expecting to see him because I saw him in the thing. And I was afterwards, I went up to him and I sent him a message. And I apologised. And I said, I just didn't clock who you were. And this is what happens. You guys probably realise this when you meet people, is that like people know what we look like, but we don't generally know what other people look like. So unless people come up to you and say, "Hi, I'm XYZ," you have to sit there playing this.
My
kind of
name
weird,
is
like,
Sandwich Sniffer 420. Because
Yeah.
they'll come over and go, "Hi, I'm Chris," and I'm like, "Who the fuck's Chris?"
sound.
They're like, "Oh yeah, it's Sandwich Sniffer 420 in your chat," and I'm like, "Ah, how's it going, brother? Good to see you."
For me, that was the highlight of the festival, was the people.
Yeah.
Like the whiskey range. So I've only done 2 festivals. So I live in like the heart of bumpkin land at the bottom of England, small villages, like what you see on, is it This Country? That's pretty much this area. And yeah, so I did a festival in Bristol. That was really good. But then when I went Glasgow Festival, that showed me what a festival was. Like I had people talking to me. I don't know why people knew me. Granted, I wasn't really in disguise, but like people knew me, and that was amazing. And like they all knew more about whiskey than I did. And it was great hearing their thoughts on it all and like what their recommendations were there. So lots of times I had a list of who I wanted to see. I didn't do half of them because people were saying, I've just had this from over there. So okay, yeah, and I'll shuffle on over there, slowly worm my way in with a little glass, but yeah, I can wholeheartedly recommend Glasgow Whiskey Fest.
It's gotta be a cool feeling, man.
Yeah. Have you got, I'm guessing there's not any in China, is there? Or
Beijing has a whiskey festival, but it's been kind of, since COVID, they obviously paused it for a few different years, and now they're kind of figuring out where they're gonna, which venue they're gonna have it. And I went, I believe it was 2019, and had just a great time, man. It was a beautiful experience. Got to try some amazing things and meet some cool people. But I mean, obviously the language barrier, my Chinese isn't all that good. It's not as good as it should be. So I couldn't have in-depth conversations with folks, but all in all, it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, I do like a festival. But yeah, to go back to what Phil was saying, yeah, it depends on what you want. I mean, Glasgow Whiskey Festival, for me at least, tends to be a weekend. I've only been once, and it was the whole weekend. Whereas London, it's so close to me that I try to do it in a day. And there's always stuff going on, but like obviously getting a hotel in London is expensive, and getting around is. Whereas Glasgow is probably a little bit cheaper, only a little bit. But yeah, all festivals are pretty good, but yeah, all festivals are pretty good. But yeah, Glasgow Whiskey Festival was off the chain. I just wish it was. I wish it was longer. Is in the actual venue, because I didn't get to try hardly anything, and I've obviously been to festivals where you like Somerton is a great example where you're allowed to buy both sessions. That apart from the hour in the middle, that's like 9 hours of kind of crazy town. And by the end of it, on the second session, I'm not really drinking the things anymore. I'm just sitting down having a chat with my mates. And there wasn't enough of that at the Glasgow Whiskey Festival. It was a bit of a rush, but then obviously you went to the pub afterwards, and that was like properly mental. Going to the different pubs in Glasgow, properly mental. But again, because Fran gave us a lift home, and she lured us both out with a promise of sit in the car Mackie D's at like 10:30. I was like, yeah,
Told you, man.
See you later, everybody. I have to go.
Sold. You drive a hard bargain.
But that was when I was in the back of your car, like we were both steaming, and I was like, I know you guys are both like vegan, vegetarians, like, but I'm going to eat some chicken. I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to smash this in the back of your car.
We don't care, mate. You crack on. I'll sit there and I'll destroy 2 McPlants quite happily.
Yeah, Phil's also talking about his local-ish whiskey festival as well in New Zealand. Would absolutely love to go over to New Zealand at some point. I mean, that would be a crazy expensive festival for me to go to, but yeah. And obviously Max in the chat as well. He's coming over. I think, what did he say? Whiskey Show. Is that the London one? I think that's one of the London ones in 2024. Sounds like a good excuse for us all to get to London, right?
Yeah, I'll be coming down for that. Just let me know dates as and when, and I'll sort out getting down to London for that, because it's always good to go and see Mac, innit?
Oh yeah, that day we went to Bimber. Well, it'd be a year ago now, when it's January last year.
Oh, that was a good day.
That was a good day. Yeah. Got to hang out with Mac more. Yeah, I missed him this time round. It just it was a shame when he came over. He was touring rugby this year, and he was literally all over the place. But yeah, it was so I couldn't make it happen. But next time, for sure. Yeah, we should say there's a lot of whiskey tubers in here now. Hopefully, a few of you will watch it again to see the start. But what I would say, reiterate, is that the whole point of this show is to get as many of you on it in rotation as possible. So if you are into being on this show, then get onto my Discord in the links below, and we'll get it all chatted on. Because I've said earlier, I'm not gonna be pinging out invites to this because it gets too confusing on organising people. But I organise it all through my Discord, which is a nice place to hang out when we're not live streaming. All right, what has everyone got in their glass now? Jeff, have you changed over? Sorry, Fried, what did you say there?
I was saying, can confirm.
Yeah,
can confirm. It's a good place to hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you changed drams yet, Jeff?
No, I haven't. I haven't got anything that's like two hand, and I kind of don't want to turn my back on you because it feels a bit rude. But this is coming from the guy who's talking to you with sunglasses on inside, so I don't really have a leg to stand on.
No, you go for it, mate. It's obviously that's what we all do, basically, isn't it? I don't suppose you've got a nice be right back thing that like Ben's got.
Come on, man, wow me.
I could throw a coaster at the camera. That would kind of do it. But
take it straight off the back of the desk.
Yeah.
I don't know where
I mean, I guess that is an in-camera wipe transition if ever I've seen it.
I can do this. Wait there.
Oh, nice.
Oh, there we go.
Over there, and then the slick back up. Oh, I got
that was gorgeous.
I haven't got a glass. I didn't think this through.
I just use the same one, man. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Well, I've still got a dribble in there, but I want to go back to that one because, this. How would you pronounce it? Is it Quinta Rubin or Quinta Rubin?
I've heard it pronounced as Quinta Raban. That's how I've heard someone else pronounce it. So
I wear Paco Rabanne, so that should be easy to remember.
I put the emphasis on the first syllable and Reuben. Reuben. Of course, my American accent is probably just bastardizing the whole thing, as we do.
At the end of the day, just say it confidently wrong, and you'll have the other person guessing who's right or not.
Well, that's Jeff's whole whiskey channel, right?
That's actually a pretty solid advice. Yeah.
Oh man,
what do I fancy next?
I've gone for a shameless plug, but it's my whiskey of last year. So it's the Willy Wonka looking like Elon Musk. So that's the head. I believe it's the head distiller or the chap who owns it of Millstone Distillery. So a single malt Dutch whiskey. But this thing is like ridiculously good. It's like Dr. Pepper on steroids and then whiskey thrown in for good measure.
Oh, I could go for some of that, but I don't have any.
What is the next best?
What is the next best?
Does anyone else find, like you looking at that there, Ben, we're having such a wall of whiskey, it makes it harder to pick due to such a range?
Yeah. And
100%.
I can't, I'm just looking at it like I just don't know what I want. And I think usually in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, but once I actually see it, I'll go, I want that one. No, it's the pot still. I find it easier when I don't know. Well, maybe like, half the whiskeys. They got like 900 bottles in there. When I don't, and like I can just look up the thing and I'll just see, I don't know, like a Dram or Ben Nevis, and I'll just go that one, and I won't think about it. Whereas in here, where I know every single bottle, I'm like, don't fancy that, don't fancy that, don't fancy that.
So if we said third row from the top, 5 bottles in from the left, would that be a don't fancy that, or would that be a pick?
Just do it. Just grab it.
You have to do the same as well, Fried. It doesn't matter if it's early doors.
Where's your
I'm taking my Chinese driving lesson test. Chinese driving test in like a few hours. So if I rock up there all boozy, they're not gonna.
Which shelf, left or right?
I think I'll be
left shelf. Save it for after then, Fried. So what's that Ardbeg behind you? I can't see it. Oh, the flashy transitions.
Dave Barnes, nice. Just to reiterate, so down in the description below, it should be there. It should be. I was trying to chat then, but I realised I haven't signed in on OBS. But let me just double check the details. Yeah, so is it there? Yeah, it's scroll right down and it's under where my website links are, just above chapters. There's a Discord link. Hopefully that's still active. Yeah, I was going to say earlier, Ben. I think where's your liquor picker? Is that not active?
No, it's not on this scenes setup. Also, that runs on a server downstairs, and I've not got that set up either because I just decommissioned everything and rebuilt it all, and I haven't spun any of that back up yet. It's funny, I very nearly did. I was like, maybe I could just fire up the liquor picker, just have it on because the button's still here, but doesn't do anything.
Nah, it's also probably not up to date, right? Because you've probably had a lot in and a lot out since then.
Honestly, no. I wasn't joking when I said I literally just haven't bought anything. Well, like the worm tubs. Yeah, there's bits, but like nothing major. You could still. Definitely not a lot gone out. A fair bit of it's probably come in. So these were the 2 bottles that were fifth. That's an 8-year-old bottle of a Ben Nevis from a first fill white port pipe, and that shit right there is liquid vanilla ice cream. It is just incredible. Ooh. And the other one was this.
Oh, on glaze. I still can't read what it is. Peated Burgundy cask.
A peated Burgundy cask, 2007 English whiskey, bottled for Harvey Nichols.
I'm game. Is it literally English distillery?
Yeah, English Whiskey Co.
Bang in.
Product of England.
We're getting there, man. You know, like Jim was saying in the chat earlier, like give Irish 10 years and we'll be flooded with it. But I remember trying English whiskey for the first time when some of the early works in progress from the English distillery, St George's Distillery, and it I don't know, it wasn't what I wanted to try. Let's put it that way. But it's coming leaps and bounds now. There's so much good stuff coming out of this country. It's good.
It smells like a good fart.
Jesus
like a eggy fart.
A good fart.
It does.
Yeah. Is that what's on the label?
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's got tasting notes. Oh, peatier than a Highland Moor. It's not. But from south of the border, still in 2007, matured in a single Burgundy cask. This English whiskey was filled into just 280 bottles in 2019. Yeah, it smells eggy. I'm like super sensitive to like sulfur compounds. I find like a lot of heavily sherried stuff, especially if certain sherry casks, I find them like genuinely eggy. There was one I actually had at SWG3, which like half the people I was with just couldn't drink it. I quite like it. I don't mind a farty dram, but they were just like, I don't know how you can drink that. That's disgusting. And everyone else is just like, the other half were like, I literally can't taste what you're talking about. It just tastes like a whiskey to me. But
so when you have like sulfuric drams, do you find it always goes more to the eggy side? For me, it's always like, not that I've ever licked a spent firework, but that kind of like dirty gunpowder, like
so
matchness.
Me,
yeah, and that
eggy.
really doesn't tickle me.
Oh, I love it.
I don't mind it per se. The Mortlock kind of opened that receptor for me. The first time I ever noticed that sulfury note was in a Mortlock. I think the 12-year-old, just a normal range 12-year-old. And now that that's kind of been unlocked, it's my brain recognizes it far more often. It's a pretty cool thing.
New flavor.
I don't mind it so much. I kind of dig it actually. I like that. Yeah, basically, I like that spent firework type of vibe. I enjoy it. It's nostalgic for me.
I like the spent firework vibe. I like the spent match vibe. But for me, there's a big old spectrum of kind of sulfuriness that comes through, and it definitely ends in that eggy fart if it gets too much. And I've only ever had one eggy fart dram in my whole life. I don't mind it when I get it as burnt match, but there's definitely a limit for me when it comes to those sulfur compounds. Like David's saying here, that unfortunately sulfur candles are still too common in wine casks. It's true, you know, like there was a time when I remember saying it early on in my channel that I'm just getting sulfur and I don't know where it's from. and I found out about this sulfur candles, and then I got poo-pooed, like, straight up. No, people don't do that anymore. And I was like, they definitely do. Where? All right, explain to me where this sulfur compounds are coming from then, because they're not coming from anywhere, unless you're telling me they're using stainless steel stills, because the copper should take care of all of that. It's got to be coming from the cask. But yeah, I've got no hard science for that. I've got no proof. But it's kind of evened out, I think, now. I haven't had a really eggy dram in ages, but I might have to try Ben's eggy fart dram now.
Have you had a really cheesy dram? At the Glasgow Whiskey Festival, we had the Bruichladdich, is it beer barley? And that was like a cheese board. Like, you had your Dairy Lee next to your fancy, showing how classy I am, with a cheese board, and I'm saying Dairy Lee. You got your cheesy triangles, you got your Baby Bell.
You got your American singles in the plastic wrapper.
just rolled up.
Yeah. Oh,
I had a Bruichladdich Montbazillac. No, Pauillac cask. Same. It was literally just cheese, like just blue cheese, real stinking blue cheese. I loved it. I actually have a receipt. I was doing my receipts earlier, and I found a receipt for 2 of them.
Let's go. What was that? Sorry, Fried?
Well, the stinky blue cheese for me kind of circles back around to the sulfury vibe. I get sometimes in a heady blue cheese a big sting of that, which I'm not complaining. I like that.
It's getting me hungry now.
I know. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of blue cheese though. Right. I've got some in the fridge, but I can only drink blue cheese when I've got the peatiest of peaty whiskey, and then it sort of works for me. But intentionally eating mold, I'm not sure about that.
That's what you're doing. It's worth it. I love it. Yeah, I love it.
All right, guys, we've gone over the hour. The original intention of this is for me to kind of like almost set it up as a podcast style thing as well. So I think an hour is probably a good opportunity to wind us down. One final plug for Discord. What I'll do after this is a little after party in Discord where people can do more of the chat. So if you are in that server, then please do come along. I'll be there. Ben will definitely
pop the link in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, I could do that. You're right. But I need to sign into it all. So next time I'll put it in the chat. But this time, unless somebody else can do it for me.
I literally just went to invite people, and I don't think you've given other people permissions to create invites.
I'm just going to copy and paste it out of my.
Do you think I'm not trustworthy?
Definitely.
But you made me an admin.
I definitely think that. Yeah, I made you an admin and didn't give you any rights. Talk amongst yourselves while I get this.
Well, is anyone else going to get some cheese and crackers after this now?
No.
I'm going to get some Z's. I'm going to go right back to bed, I think. Actually, I'm full of coffee now, so I'm probably going to run some laps or do something. I don't know.
Well, best of luck with your driving test. How different is it? Have you done it like internationally before, and then you have to do a specific one for China?
Well, because I have an active American license, I don't have to take the practical exam, just the written. And I've been doing practice exams online, and there are essentially the rules are the same because we drive on the same side of the road as we do in the States and stuff like that, and the rules are fairly similar. It's just that nobody follows the rules. Nobody. So I see all these people on my daily life just breaking the rules constantly. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that must be legal. I mean, everybody's doing it, right? But then I'm taking this test and it says, oh, you can park the wrong way on the opposite side of the street. I'm like, yeah, of course you can. And like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, holy shit, everybody here is just nobody follows the rules. I feel like Walter Sobchak in The Big Lebowski. Like, has the whole world gone crazy? Am I the only one around here that gives a shit about the rules? But yeah, it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be all right. Not too worried. I'm prepared.
Good luck to you, man. Hopefully there's a good pass or commiserations dram for you at the end of it.
Well, for sure. Yeah, my classes for the evening have been canceled. So once I get home, if it's noon, I don't care. It's something's happening.
Cool. Okay, I'll call it there then. Thanks very much, guys, for coming on for this kind of test the waters stream. I think it's gone pretty well. So hopefully we'll do this again next month. I'll keep an eye out for me. I'll host it again next month just to give other people a chance to figure out what they're doing, and then I'll try and pass it over to a few other people. And if people are really into it, maybe we'll do it every fortnight or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to kind of give any of that going forwards, but yeah, hopefully everyone's enjoyed this. Let me know by hitting that like button if you have enjoyed it, and we'll do more of this coming future. See you on
Nice one.
Discord.